You could walk an hour every single morning, track every calorie, swap the bread for vegetables, and still watch your belly stay completely unchanged. And the reason has nothing to do with effort or willpower. It has everything to do with timing and, more specifically, with fuel. Because right now, your body is sitting on an enormous reserve of stored energy packed tight around your midsection, and it is refusing to touch it. Not because it can't, because you haven't given it a reason to. There is a specific hormonal window that opens every single morning the moment you wake up. A window where your body is primed, ready, and biochemically forced to burn stored fat for fuel. And there is one extraordinarily simple action you can take during that window to exploit it completely. Walking, not running, not lifting, just walking. But walking in a very specific state that most people accidentally skip over every single day before they even lace up their shoes. Today we are going to look at what is actually happening inside your fat cells during a fasted morning walk. We are going to examine the biological mechanism that unlocks belly fat, the precise research that proved the difference fasting timing makes, how long you need to walk to cross from warm-up into genuine fat burning, and the single innocent morning habit that shuts the entire process down the moment you do it. Let's start with why belly fat is so uniquely stubborn. You have probably noticed that when you gain weight, it settles around the middle first. And when you try to lose it, your face thins out, your arms shrink, your legs get leaner, and your stomach just sits there completely unbothered. This is not random. Belly fat, particularly the deep visceral fat surrounding your internal organs, is exquisitely sensitive to one specific hormone, insulin. Insulin is your body's storage signal. When it is circulating in your bloodstream, your body is in a biochemical state of hoarding. It is pulling energy out of circulation and pushing it into storage. And the fat cells around your midsection are packed with insulin receptors. They are listening for that signal constantly. The moment insulin rises, those cells lock their doors. They hold onto their contents with a grip that no amount of walking or calorie restriction can pry open, because you are working against the biology rather than with it. Here is the critical piece. When you wake up in the morning, particularly after a full night of sleep without eating, your insulin levels are at the single lowest point of your entire day. Your body has spent the past 8, 9, or 10 hours quietly maintaining your blood sugar without any food coming in. The easy, immediate fuel sources are depleted. Your bloodstream is clean. And in that state, the doors to your fat cells are wide open. A team of researchers at the University of Northumbria decided to put this exact situation under a microscope. They gathered a group of physically active adults and split them into two groups. Both groups were given the same morning exercise protocol. Same pace, same duration, same effort level. The only variable was timing. One group ate a standard breakfast before heading out. The other group exercised in a completely fasted state, having consumed nothing since the night before. When the researchers analyzed the fat oxidation data from both groups, the results were clear and striking. The fasted group burned up to 20% more body fat during the exact same exercise session. Same movement, same effort. 20% more fat consumed simply because insulin was not in the way. What the researchers identified was that the fasted group's bodies had no alternative. There was no breakfast glucose flooding the bloodstream to be used first, so the body did the logical thing. It went directly to the fuel it had stored. It cracked open the fat cells and pulled the energy it needed right from the tissue you were trying to eliminate. And belly fat is not just passively sitting there waiting. When your body taps into these stores during a fasted walk, it is literally pulling triglycerides out of those visceral fat cells, breaking them down into free fatty acids, shipping them into your muscle tissue, and burning them as direct fuel. Your stomach is not just shrinking, it is being actively consumed by your own metabolism. But there is a second mechanism at work here that most people overlook entirely, and it has to do with stress hormones. Cortisol is your body's primary stress signal. In small amounts, it is useful. But chronically elevated cortisol, which is the baseline state for most adults living inside modern schedules and constant digital pressure, directly promotes fat storage around the abdomen. Your body interprets prolonged stress as a survival threat, and in response, it holds energy reserves close to your core. This is why people who are constantly stressed often carry weight specifically around the middle, regardless of what they eat. A moderate, rhythmic, low-intensity morning walk is one of the most effective natural cortisol regulators that exists. The combination of steady movement, fresh air, and the quiet of early morning actively lowers circulating cortisol levels. You are simultaneously opening the fat cells through low insulin and reducing the hormonal signal that tells your body to keep filling them back up. You are attacking the problem from both directions at once. Now, how long do you actually need to walk? This is where people either undersell or overcomplicate the practice. The first 10 to 15 minutes of any morning walk are a transitional period. Your body is still clearing the very last traces of blood glucose, warming up the cardiovascular system, and shifting metabolic gears. You are getting there, but you haven't arrived yet. The real fat-burning rhythm kicks in somewhere around that 15-minute mark, when your body has fully committed to fatty acid oxidation as its primary fuel source. To actually benefit from that state, you want to stay in motion for at least 30 to 45 minutes total. That window between 15 and 45 minutes of steady walking is where the meaningful metabolic work happens. You are not training for a marathon. You're just keeping the engine running long enough that it has no choice but to run on fat. Your pace matters too, and perhaps not in the direction you expect. If you go into a fasted morning in a full sprint, or push into intense interval training, you trigger a significant cortisol and adrenaline release as your body panics from the sudden high energy demand without available glucose. This actually works against you. The optimal pace is brisk and deliberate. Think of it like walking purposefully through an airport when your gate is on the other side of the terminal. Your breathing picks up slightly, your heart rate elevates, you feel the effort, but you could still manage a short conversation. This is your aerobic fat-burning zone. You are pulling oxygen into your muscles and using it to oxidize fat. Push too hard and you spike cortisol. Walk too slowly and you never fully tap the reserves. The middle path is where the biology rewards you. Hydration plays a bigger role here than most people give it credit for. After a full night without fluid intake, your body wakes up dehydrated. And a dehydrated body cannot metabolize fat efficiently because the enzymatic processes that break down stored triglycerides require adequate water to function properly. Drink a large glass of water before you step outside. It takes 90 seconds and it genuinely changes the quality of the session. Plain black coffee is also a legitimate tool here. Caffeine has been shown to directly stimulate the release of fatty acids from adipose tissue into the bloodstream, which essentially preloads your muscles with the fuel they are about to burn. It also provides a mild metabolic boost that increases the rate at which fat is oxidized during exercise. Just keep it completely black. The moment you add milk, cream, sweetener, or any flavoring, you introduce calories that trigger insulin release and the biological gate closes. That is the innocent mistake that erases the advantage before you even get out the door. A single teaspoon of flavored creamer, a small bite of banana to take the edge off your hunger. Any of it. Your metabolism does not care about the volume. It cares about the chemical signal. Insulin goes up, fat burning stops. Full stop. The long game here is what makes this habit genuinely powerful. One fasted walk will not reshape your body, but 30 consecutive mornings of fasted walking will. What happens over that period is not just incremental fat loss. Your body gets significantly more efficient at using fat as a fuel source in general. Your insulin sensitivity improves, meaning your body needs to release less insulin in response to the same amount of food. Your cortisol baseline drops. Your energy throughout the day becomes more stable because your blood sugar stops swinging wildly. You are not just burning belly fat during those 30 to 45 minutes each morning. You are restructuring your entire metabolic operating system. Your waistline is not a willpower problem. It is a hormone problem. And you do not need to suffer through it. You need a glass of water, a pair of shoes, and 30 minutes on the other side of your front door before breakfast. That is the entire protocol. Everything else is biology doing exactly what it was built to do. If this makes you want to test it tomorrow morning, drop a comment below and let me know. And if you found the mechanisms here useful, hit the like button so this reaches more people who need it.